What is happening in North Carolina on trains? Man, I'm going to just tell you, bro. I don't trust anybody anymore. I don't trust anybody anymore. I am afraid of y'all. And when I say y'all, I ain't talking about the bag chasers. I ain't talking about the people that's in the streets. I ain't talking about the people that I know. I'm talking about the people that I don't know, man. I am super afraid of people. I don't trust anybody. Not as far as I can throw them. I don't trust nobody at all. Not even a little bit. Not even a teeny bit. I don't trust nobody, bro. Have y'all been familiar with this? This is not something that had initially been covered on national news. This is something that I had been seeing floating around on X, formerly known as Twitter. It wasn't floating around on TikTok. You really can't find a trace of it. You're not going to really find it on Instagram because those platforms are super sensitive to graphic content. Super sensitive to graphic content. And this is why I love X, formerly known as Twitter, because we need to know what's going on in these streets. We need to know what is happening in these streets. On the streets of North Carolina, the person that you see in black, I'm going to preface this video. The person that you see in black is a woman, a Ukrainian refugee that's here, obviously getting off of work, it looks like. And the man in the red was a person that she sat in front of on a bus, unsuspectingly, looking at her phone, and he decided to brutally, and when I say brutally murder the woman. Now, listen, we can have an argument over whether or not people should be in America. We can have an argument over deportation. We can have an argument over illegal migration, who qualifies to be here, whether you should respect the flag, so on and so forth. But the one thing that I advocate for, and I'm a huge advocate for, is nobody deserves to die just because. Nobody. I don't care if you're a migrant, illegal. If you are not breaking into somebody else's house trying to take their life, if you are not trying to get a hold of a little kid, if you are not trying to take somebody involuntary man butt or something, keep your hands to yourself. Nobody deserves to just die brutally for the sake of sitting on a bus, no matter where they from, no matter who they are, what color of their skin, man or woman, female, tall, skinny, short, fat, wide, big, none of that. Nobody deserves to lose their life. And to see this type of stuff happen in the United States of America is sick. Is sick. So they asked Trump about it, and then I'm also going to present to you the actual news coverage of it. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications.
Horrible. No, I haven't heard. When did this happen?
It happened in August, but the video just came out.
I see. Yeah, I see the video. I'll know all about it by tomorrow morning. Thank you.
This stop is Stanley Park Station. Please exit right.
Now imagine you getting off your shift. I personally am a fan of public transportation. I think that public transportation is the gateway to financial freedom. Public safety, public transportation, great schools. Those are the three main pillars of a great community. Public transportation, public safety, and good education. All right. Got to pour into your schools, got to pour into your police officers, public safety, and you have to make sure that you allow for people to be able to get to and from safely without any kind of problems whatsoever. So when I'm in the city, I take public transportation, but I always either go to the back or the front, And then I turn and I face the rest of the crowd because I need to see what's going on around me. It's just habit. It's the way that I was taught since I was catching a Hamilton bus downtown. We used to go to the back of the bus, not to clown, but because it allowed us to be able to see every single thing that was going on around us, just in case we had to make a move. It's the way that we was taught. It's the way that I was raised. I don't sit with my back to the door when I go in a restaurant. I'm just naturally on alert 100% of the time. But that does not mean that everybody should be or have to be. It's the adaptation to what my environment was. Raised in the inner city of Detroit, you had to be situationally aware because you never know when something was going to pop off. It's messed up, though. It's messed up. It is absolutely messed up that we have to live like this. And this is the way that people are. Because think about it. You getting on the bus, it's people on the bus, it's people everywhere, right? And the wild thing to think about, if you really start to put it in perspective, is that it's danger all around you. Even when you in your car, not even just on the bus. We're using the bus as an example because this is where the crime happened. But there's danger all around you. It's people. It was a girl that was swerving in and out of her lane on my way into the studio today, and that's because she was on her phone. Most of the time when you ride a motorcycle, it's not that the motorcycle is dangerous, it's the people that surround you that's dangerous. So when you go to your motorcycle class in order to get your motorcycle license, they tell you and they teach you and they focus so much on being a defensive rider because it's danger all around you. And it almost is like you wish you were more ignorant, but at the same time, you can't put the genie back in the bottle because it's so great being a child because children don't know hate. They don't know evil. They don't know any of these things until we teach it to them. It's when we get older, we start to adopt these narratives and these philosophies that turn us into the monsters that we are today. And so when this person got on the train, they got on the train expecting to get to their destination safely. But instead, this happened. I don't trust nobody, especially when they pretending they sleep or they pretending oh, he didn't even look like, but I mean, it's not something that you just naturally just notice, right? He didn't even look like he was really, like he looked like he was just on some stuff. Before she sat down, he looked like he was on some stuff. Look. Nope. 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 Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Please stand clear. Doors are closing. Train is about to move.
Got their headphones on. I tell my daughter, she said, Dad, how come you always got your headphones in, but you don't have no music playing when you're moving out and about? I said, because I want people to think I'm listening to music and that I can't hear anything, but I'm actually really paying attention. It's the honest to God truth. It's like a hearing aid. It magnifies everything that's going on around you. Most of the time I'll be walking around and I have some AirPods in, but I can hear everything. I ain't got no music playing. If I'm not on the phone, then I can hear everything. A lot of people nowadays, they just into a whole nother world. Look at it. And that's where it ended. Absolutely bludgeoned the person. Bludgeoned her. Bludgeoned her. I don't know. Oh, took out a knife. Guess they took out a knife. Let me give it to y'all from the news's perspective now. I wanted to give y'all the insight on what was going on.
And new this morning, a heinous act captured on video. I want you to warn you that this is disturbing. It is very graphic. This adds moments in a seemingly just random act. The suspect pulls out a knife and attacks her.
Heartbreaking indeed. I want to go live to CNN's chief law enforcement and intelligence analyst, John Miller, who's joining us from New York. John, what do we know, first of all, about this horrible attack and the alleged assailant?
Well, this happened back on August 22nd. The assailant, who's charged with murder in this case, is DeCarlos Brown, 34 years old. He's got 14 arrests in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg area. He just finished a 6-year stint for an armed gunpoint robbery.
Shout out to my dreadheads. Shout out to my dreadheads. I'ma just say that right away. Anton, it's not every dreadhead. I'm telling you, bro, the profile of most people that I see when I do this show or I do review videos, whether they punching chicks in Chicago, we gonna get to that a little later in the show, or they stabbing chicks on the train, they all have the same profile, bro. They all of them got a tattoo on their neck or their face. They usually a dreadhead. They got a nappy beard and they black. Now you gonna get the killer that's in Minneapolis. That's a trans that shot up the whole school. We got those two. And it doesn't mean that crime is singular only to black people or only to dreadheads. But man, when I see a dreadhead, whether it's a YN or an old school unk like this, I'm always on high alert, bro. Look, don't get mad at me. Oh, Anton, but I got dreads and I keep it nice. Cool. You probably missed an opportunity because of your brethren out here that's stabbing people. Because I'm profiling. I'm profiling like hell. I'm profiling like a mother effer, bro. I am going to profile. Absolutely. I believe that this guy who has been arrested 14, and y'all wonder why Trump's saying that we need stronger sentences, get rid of the Safety Act, no cash bail, executive order. 14 times, just got done doing a 6-year stint for a robbery. Man, he wanted to go back to jail and he didn't care. And he was looking for somebody to take out as a result of it. Some people saying that his family is coming out and acting like he had a mental disorder. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He didn't have no mental disorder. This is what he used to living like. You think that this is his first time killing? Boy, you don't take out a knife and start stabbing people in the neck on a bus if that's your first time. That ain't your first time killing. That's either your first time getting caught or it's your first time doing it on the outside. Either it's your first time getting caught or it's your first time doing it on the outside. I seen that racist chick. It's a super racist white woman that is on, she was on Piers Morgan and she was arguing back and forth. And I think that she was on the same show that Myron Gaines was on. And she had a narrative and she had something that she wanted. Matter of fact, let me play it for you. Let me play it for you. And it's hard to be able to debate her when you see stuff like this because what we see happening, you know, I was reviewing videos of what was happening in Chicago. Let me pull her up. She went on her podcast and she just got them riled right up because, I mean, why wouldn't she?
People need to get angry about this sort of situation, and they need to start realizing this is happening, and they need to get more racist. Racism would save a lot of lives. If this girl was a little more racist, she might not have sat in front of a black guy with her back to a black guy. Girls may not date black guys if they realize when they go into the court system, it's nothing but white women bringing before the judge the brown and black perps who have battered them, abuse them. They're trying to get restraining orders out against them. And those are the lucky ones, believe it or not. Those aren't the ones that were murdered by these people. So we need to get tough with ourselves and realize that this is an actual problem and not care if they call you racist, because I would rather be called racist than dead.
And look how many likes she got on it, too.
I would rather be
She
called
already got over 16,000 likes, which means that she probably got a few 100,000 views on this minimally. And I can't sit there and debate with them. How can I debate with her? I don't think you should be racist, but I definitely think that you need to profile. I don't think that you can be racist. I don't think it makes sense to be racist. I don't think you should hate somebody else because of the color of their skin or their gender or anything that they can't control. But God, as far as the rhetoric, as far as profiling, how can I disagree with her? Stereotypes is earned. It's not given. When I go outside every day, I feel a sense of obligation to be on my utmost behavior, to have a good sentiment. I bumped into a guy the other day. It was like 2 days ago. I had bumped into a guy. It was a black guy that I bumped into. And immediately he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I said, "Oh, excuse me, my bad." And so we were profusely apologizing to each other. And I could tell that he was a very, very, very well-spoken, just from the small interaction that we had with each other, well-spoken, nice person. Not, because, you can run into some people or step on a shoe or bump into somebody and they be ready to scrap. He wasn't like that at all. He was very apologetic, but I always feel as though I have to I'm just being honest with you. I got to overcompensate because I got to try to balance the scales from what other people that look like me perpetuate and what the narrative could be. That I have to make people, other black people, I ain't even talking about being around white people, I'm talking about being around other black people, that I have to show them that I'm a safe person to be around, because everybody is always on high alert because they are so used to running into monsters and demons on a regular basis.
And got out of jail a couple of years ago. And what we're trying to learn is more about what his encounters with law enforcement on the street have been since the time he was released from prison up until this incident.
The attack, as you know, John, has set off a political firestorm about crime in Democratic-led cities across the United States. How is this playing out?
Well, if you look at Charlotte, their crime is actually taking a dramatic turn in the right direction. Their murders down 29% as of the July numbers I read through. Aggravated assault, which would capture stabbings, shootings, and other assaults, is down 25%. So you look at Charlotte, and like many of these cities that are telling this story, their violent crime is trending in the right direction. Their property crime, burglaries, car theft, you see slight increases in, but they have a very dynamic police department there that has a combination of assertive policing, precision policing, directed patrols, but also community policing involving youth outreach for juvenile delinquency and other things. So this is not one of those cities that is asleep at the switch on crime. What this is a terribly tragic, dramatic, terrible event captured on video, which is being magnified to send a certain message.
Yeah, listen. I hear you, bro. Somebody in the chat says, Tynesha Brown. Tynesha says, we absolutely have a problem in our community. However, we do not commit crime more than any other race. This propaganda has been happening since the birth of a nation in the 1920s. Well, here's the thing, Tynesha. Any crime is bad crime, and I don't care who it's from. And so wherever there is crime committed, I think that it needs to be addressed. I think that it needs to be rooted out, that we need to have harsh penalties on people that commit crimes against humanity and other people. And I can't focus on what other people are doing. Let's assume, for the sake of conversation, Tanisha, all right, Let's assume for the sake of conversation that you're 100% right. All right. Let's assume that you're 100% right. Now, let's say that other communities commit violent crime at a much higher rate or at the same rate. Okay. And we go into the media and we say, hey, listen, and we spend 90% of our time holding ourselves accountable or holding the people accountable inside of your community that commit violent crime. And let's say hypothetically that you have worst case scenario, according to liberals and Democrats, the Trump administration sends in the National Guard and it stamps out crime in the black community. And they focus so much on stamping out crime in the black communities or communities of color, like people like to say, to where it goes to damn near zero. And that there's no crime in the black community now, and that all of the crimes is in other communities. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing for black people? Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing for black people? Because let me tell you something. You know what you don't want to happen is for them to focus on stamping out crime in other communities while letting it perpetuate in communities that you live in. I would rather have accountability on me and mine so that we can live and operate safely in your communities than for them to focus on other people. That's almost like, think about it like this. Think about it like this. Do we want to focus on making the world safe, or do we want to focus on having our resources that we spend our tax dollars on American soil? I don't care about what's happening in other countries unless it affects the United States of America. Now, that does not mean that I want things to happen in other countries, but they need to focus on themselves and we need to focus on holding ourselves accountable. The worst thing that you can do is to focus on what everybody else got going on in order to justify what happens within our own here in the United States of America or within inner cities. I hate the fact that we've spent so much money and trillions of dollars overseas, obviously sometimes for our own best interest because we like to go and get other people's oil and resources and mineral rights and all of that other type of stuff. However, I think we need to spend more time and more energy on making our own cities and our communities safe. I don't care about what they got going on in some other city or some other state when my own neighborhood or my own city or my own community is broken. I never got that argument why black people feel the need to try to justify the crime that happens within your own neighborhoods and communities by looking at other people and saying, but I don't like the fact that they calling us out. That don't make no sense. I can't justify the behavior of my daughter if she's doing something wrong by saying, but all of the girls do it. No, I got a different set of standards for my daughter. You understand what I'm saying? So, rest in peace to that young lady and rest in peace for the people that are affected by this murder. But yeah, man, we need to really have a strong stance on murder and crime in our communities. And we have to make sure that we take care of our own first. America first.